say in a lot of ways I was a little upset that we didn't do a little better job, but we had a funny team. It was a good team. It was an incredible league. The games in the league were phenomenal, but we lost a lot of games at the free throw line, and that doesn't normally happen to us. The year before, I think we were third in the nation in free throw shooting, and last year we were abysmal and had a lot of leads with 2 and 3 minutes left. We had pretty good guards and didn't get it done, so that falls on the coach usually, and deservingly so.
The coach, though, still has all sorts of passion and intensity deep into your career. We'll say in your 60s, still you're keeping up that passion and intensity. Got that for a little bit longer. How have you been able to keep it this long?
You know, Rick, I mean, it's an incredible league, you know, and we get new people in it, and, you know, it's been fun. Matt Painter and I have been in it the longest, and I've got a lot more years than he does in it. But, you know, when you think back and you saw the Gene Cadeys and Judd Heathcotes and Bobby Knights, Clem Haskins, those guys went a long time too, and I just feel it's a privilege and an honor to be in this league. You know, it is still one of the great academic leagues in the country. It's one of the most competitive leagues in the country, and I think it's been one of the most well-run leagues in the country. And so you put all those things together, and now we had 4 new schools, all really good basketball schools. Man, we got our work cut out.
I'm glad you brought up Matt. What'd you feel watching his team get to the champ game?
I loved it. You know, I loved it. I was hoping they were going to win it. Of all the teams, you know, I mean, this thing started out, Judd Heathcote's, one of his best friends in the game was Gene Cadey. This year, Gene Cadey went into the Hall of Fame, and I got to walk up with him, which kind of shows what our 2 programs have been about for 35 more years. And for me to take over for Judd and Matt to take over for Gene, and Matt and I have been good friends. We're on a lot of committees together. I was pulling hard for him. I was hoping they'd be the next Big Ten team to win the Big Ten. He had an incredible year, did an incredible job with the best player in the country. So yeah, I was a big fan. Only negative about going out early is you're out early. The positive was I got to root on some other Big Ten teams, especially his.
And I know there are a lot of people, a lot of coaches in the league that were rooting for Matt as well. And you bring up the addition of the new schools and the new coaches. I mean, Mick has brought a team to the Final Four. Dana's a future Hall of Famer. I don't think there's really any question about that. Eric has won basically everywhere he's been. As good as this league was coach-wise, how much better has it now gotten?
Oh, it got better. You know, it got better because we added 4 great coaches. You know, Danny is going to do a great job at Washington because he's been at different places at different levels. When you have success at different levels, that means you're more than a flash in the pan, you know. And then when you've had success like Dana has had, and Mick's been great at the places he's been. He's had success at every level. I just think Eric has done it in the NBA and done it in college. We added 4 quality coaches, 4 phenomenal programs, all been very good in basketball at one time or another.
Does that addition change the way that your program operates?
I hope not. You know, I hope not. I hope we still, the travel will be a little different. You know, I bought a snorkel, a surfboard, and a pair of Speedos, so I'm ready for the West Coast.
I'm happy to see the snorkel and the surfboard whenever you want to show it to me.
Yeah, I get it. I guess that's one of the problems of getting a little older. But, you know, I think they're just going to bring, you know, you talk about for the Big Ten Network, for everybody, the athletes, you're talking now going from New York to LA. You know, I mean, we are covering the entire country, and I think this is going to be phenomenal for the Big Ten. We added some more academic schools. I think our guys did a great job of selecting schools that had similar missions other than the Ivy League. You know, I think we're the best academic league in the country. And then you look at our basketball and football and all the other sports. But, boy, when you think about what we've added, those are going to be 18 good teams, and it's going to make it more competitive. I mean, there's going to be some growing pains. I mean, you know, we went from a team that used to be a Wednesday or Thursday, Saturday, like Mick was saying, that's what the Pac-12 is, and now all of a sudden you're going to 7 days a week because that's what we do in our league. And but just think of the Big Ten as being represented every day of the week, now from all over the country and all these different great cities. And travel's going to be tough, you know. It's going to be tougher, but we'll adjust, and players will adjust, and I think the positives will outweigh the few negatives that you have to deal with when you make changes like this.
Finally, Tom, we may have some clarity on this sooner rather than later when it comes to revenue sharing and NIL and what the future of NIL and transfer portal looks like. For you right now, obviously it's changed everybody's program over the last couple of years. How do you see into the future? Because that's kind of what you have to do as a coach over the next couple of years to formulate how that roster is going to continue to be built and how you keep guys that you get on campus.
Yeah. You know, I think we've got to do a better job. Like everything, what happens is when something goes wrong and it's too far to the right, instead of coming back to the middle, you always go too far to the left, or vice versa. And, you know, I've been a big advocate that I'm not a fan of the transfer rule. You know, if that hurts me in recruiting, it's a shame, because really it should help me. I look at these kids, not every place is for everybody, but this going 3 and 4 times, I wonder what that's going to be like for those kids and those players later on in life. I use the example, I think I've hired like 7 of my former players on my staff at different times. Every student needs a place to go back to. And pretty soon, they're going to be going back to 4 different places. They ain't going to be embraced by all those people. So the transfer portal is one thing that I think's got to be, we got to find a happy medium in there. The NLI, I've always believed players should get more money. And now, again, it went from more money to more money than you and I make. And I don't think that's right. I don't think at 18, 19, and 20 years old, it should be that way. I think paying your dues and going through things is what's going to make you better in the long run. I think of what I did at 28, 29 years old as still a GA helped me through the next 40 years. When you were a coach that I started as, every coach, teacher, or parent's objective is to do the job so the years that you have them make the next 40 or 50 years better. I think we've lost sight of that a little bit. We're looking for more quick fixes. And if you look at a lot of quick fix things in music and in movies, and a lot of them end up in the ditch later on. So I'm probably not the one that you should be asking this, because I do have an opinion, but I promise you the opinion is for the betterment of the student athlete in the big picture, maybe not in the small picture.